There are not many spare seats in the house here at the Santos National Football Stadium. Ziggy Proklaza-Adamski is the referee for this one. And the countdown is on. So the fourth instalment of the Women's Prime Minister's 13 clash underway here in Port Moresby, and it's Jess Reeves, one of the Cowboys, who brings it back for the first carry. And didn't she have a great season?
She had a fabulous season and a good first hit up there for the Papua New Guinean women.
So both front rowers getting involved early. That's Carper. And Reeves finding Banu. She's taken just short of the halfway line. Really good first set already, this from the home side.
I am impressed. They're covering some metres right down the middle.
As back it comes from Ravu onto Koroi, who you may have noticed, well, that kick has really skipped off the turf. How about the bounce you can see already? It's like a trampoline, this Port Moresby surface.
Well, they did really well. They got to the kick, and I thought they're going to get into some great territory, but it's like a whirlwind came behind that ball to knock it dead.
And Sarah Koroi, who's playing in the halves, she doesn't usually play in the halves, but Ben Jeffrey says she's such a great talker. He wants her in that position. Really helps with the leadership of this side. She is one of the co-captains, along with Guasamon. The centre as Australia look to use it. Tohi Hiku getting on the outside, and Cassie Tohi Hiku, who's had a wonderful NRLW season with the Parramatta Eels, opens the scoring inside the first 2 minutes here in Port Moresby.
Cassie Tohu Hiku is a star of the future. I've said it before and I'll say it again. And that very first play by the Australian team shows the difference between these two teams. The Australians are going to play it out wide. They passed it too wide there on the first tackle, and they've found points with that game plan.
So a brilliant start for Australia.
Here we go as we see it again. That's 1, 2, 3 passes before it hits Cassie Tohu Hiku, just on the first tackle, and she just burns them for pace. Plenty of room out there for her to motor down and open up the scoring for the Australian team.
Just good hands, Palata and Tohi Hiku, who has won the plaudits not just for her attack this season, but her defensive work for the Parramatta Eels. She's showing her skill with the ball. And now Rachel Pearson, who had a delayed start to the NRLW due to that calf injury. And she, well, you can see the breeze. It's about 35 kilometres an hour coming across from that right to left direction, and she was looking to aim up there and just hasn't accounted for that. So it's 4-0 Australia. Tohi Hiku opening the scoring, and a player who could well force a way into a Jillaroos jumper in the future, if not in the next couple of weeks. It's a really thankless task, isn't it, for Brad Donald? He has got so many players to call and say, you're missing out, you're a great player, but you won't be in the side. It's so tough as this kickoff goes down to China Palata.
Well, what's good news, Ben, is that Cassie Tohu Hiku is just 19. So she's got quite a number of years ahead of her, and Brad can be looking at her for quite some time.
So Janelle Williams, the Raider, who actually won the Coaches Player of the Year at the Raiders Awards night. Darren Borthwick really praising her leadership at the club. Did so much with the young players this season. Gets an opportunity here as Pearson off to the short side they go. Palata trying to get on the outside, and it's Guasamon, one of the co-captains, making the tackle. Pearson just moved on from Williams to Talisha Harden.
Talisha Harden, of course, captain out there. Great leadership skills.
Pearson, that kick is into the wind, so it is going to hold up nicely, and it's picked up by Waller. So You can see that Rachel Pearson's kicking intelligence coming to the fore there.
And they'll be happy with that set of 6, handing it over deep in the right-hand corner. The first set of 6 after scoring points is always an important one, and the Australian team did very well then. Speaking of leaders, Ben, we mentioned Talisha Harden, captain of the Australian PM13, but the PNG team, I tell you what, they're missing Elsie Albert. What an inspirational leader she is. She'll be watching on as she recovers from her leg injury.
Jess Reeves picking it up over the 30. And we wish Elsie the best of luck as she recovers from calf and knee problems as Corroy gets this high. Well, the wind's going to take this out on the full. So Corroy's first 2 kicks, and as we have mentioned, she doesn't usually play in the halves. The first one goes dead. That one off the boot goes out on the full.
Well, we're certainly seeing the effect of the wind on these kicks. So note to self for the Australian team, when they turn around, they put less power on the boot.
Manzelman just wanting a settler here from Williams. Opportunity as well for Janelle Williams to show her wares after not playing NRLW this season. Very quick hands and a brilliant juggling act from Coolwell. And she's pulled over the sideline, and the roar around the National Football Stadium is for that outstanding PNG defence to stop Keisha Lee Coolwell.
I mean, it's well juggled there by Coolwell, but look at the Papua New Guinea race over in defence and in front of the home crowd. They pull her into touch, and the crowd just love it.
And if you've been watching NRLW and you don't quite know that name, Keisha Lee Coolwell is one of the Brisbane Broncos development players. Hasn't debuted this season, but she played for the Brisbane Tigers in the BMD competition this year. 6 tries in 13 for, of course, the men's competition winners last week. Shelley Long's playing the ball, and out of dummy half goes Marla Mark. Ravu, Reeves on to Banu. Gee, the crowd loved that from S.A. Banu.
And she's got herself a penalty, or has she played? No, yes, she's got herself a penalty. Great run and good result for the Papua New Guinean women.
So now an opportunity maybe just to see what they have with ball in hand here. Ravu popping it up. And now here is Carper. Gloria Carper, who's actually been playing in New South Wales with Wentworthville, and she's got a problem here, Gloria Carper. The PNG physio coming out to have a look.
I think she's worried about a nose. She'll shake that one off.
Anything untoward in the tackle. And she's actually been playing for Wentworthville. She did spend some time, looks to be a head clash.
Emma Manzelman, I think. She copped a bit of her head clash. Let's see at this angle, it's on the nose.
Yeah, she's been living with Elsie Albert and also Roswitha Carpo in Sydney. Both of those two, Carper and Carpo, have been playing for Wentworthville in the Harvey Norman competition. They got some opportunities, but mainly in the open women's competition, and both played in the grand final win for the Magpies in that open women's New South Wales Rugby League competition. So great to see that she's okay to continue. And now Corroy running across and finding Reeves. They're inspired, these NRLW players in the PNG colours today. Carpo getting involved again.
Talisha, get up! Here we are. Hold, wait, hold.
Ravu, you can hear the crowd rising in anticipation. Allen goes within the 10, gets driven back. Janelle Williams involved in that tackle.
Play there.
And here they are on the final play. So Coroy's at dummy half. Do they know it's the last? Barnu takes them on. S.A. Barnu looking to charge over under the post, but she couldn't breach the Australian wall.
Let's go, Tegan. Go.
Well, she looked like she was going to crash over under the post, and if the crowd had anything to do with it, they were willing her over.
And now Whitfield getting on the outside. Waller trying to come across and make the cover tackle. And Jakaya Whitfield, just her second run, and she's already busted her way up towards the halfway line as Tegan Berry goes off and into PNG's half.
And it's no wonder you said Jakaya Whitfield busted her way up. She leads the NRLW with an all-time high of 76 tackle busts. There'll be more of those out there today.
Release now. Go through.
Manselman and Pearson sending it Kim Hunt's way, who's coming back against the grain, and she ran into the shoulder of Liana Allen. Manselman goes to the short side, tummies away past a couple, and then Pearson, oh, there's a hit and a half. Kennedy Cherrington getting dropped there. Final play, Australia look to use it. It hits the deck. And is there a whistle? There is.
Changeover.
And it's going to be PNG ball, and that's got the home fans up and about.
That is fabulous defensive work from the PNG team. Rewarded for their intensity in defence, and that really rattled the Australian team.
Hold. Go on.
So PNG holding their own here in the opening 10 minutes of this
10, get up
Prime
now.
Minister's 13 clash.
Well, the last time these two teams met, it was quite a substantial scoreline in favour of the Australian Prime Minister's team. Doesn't look like that's going to be the case today, Ben. The PNG women really holding it together.
Here they come through. Guasaman. Belinda Guasaman, who scored 4 tries in one match in the World Cup last year against Brazil. Player of the match in that clash. They helped PNG reach the semi-finals. And now with Awoy. Just short of the halfway line, PNG. So how is this final play option? Larkey. She's thinking about running it, is she? And they don't get a kick at the end of the set. And you can just hear a little bit of disturbance in the home crowd. They would have loved to have seen them put the boot to ball, because Australia have some great field position here to start this set.
Yeah, disappointing for Karoy, who's been putting there to communicate, not to get to the kick for the Papua New Guinean women on that last one. Disappointing, and now they've got some defensive work to do.
Kennedy Cherrington has copped some treatment from these PNG players, driven back again there as Vetty Welsh finds Whitfield. Yes, both Vetty Welsh playing in the halves, allowing Tegan Berry to play fullback as Talisha Harden surges onto the ball. Couple of plays left up Australia's sleeve here with Pearson. And now Berry chiming in on the outside. Guasaman with a terrific one-on-one tackle on Tegan Berry. Final play for Australia. Pearson with the kick, just stabbing it in behind. It's a tricky one. Shelley Long getting back. Can she get it out? No, she cannot. And they're going to get a repeat set here, Australia.
Well, that was a nice little kick off Rachel Pearson's boot. She's very good at directing her team around the park and very good with the boot. Just remembering, 2 of the kicks from the Papua New Guinea team have gone dead, probably due to the wind behind it. This one here against the wind.
Stay on side, stay behind.
Well, how's the dropout going to be here? Because with the wind behind them, they could get some distance here.
I'm thinking 40, 50
well,
metres.
Well, they're not. They're going to look for the sideline. It's a tricky one. And Tohu Hiku, as she knocked it on. Referee said it went backwards. So Australia getting a little bit of good fortune there. Williams looked to be hit high, and the penalty goes Australia's way.
And this will be the 4th set of 6 that the Australian team have been in consecutively in good territory.
So this is a real test now for the PNG defence. Manselman Fires it across. Vetti Welsh, cut out pass, bounces up for Whitfield. Whitfield looking for the corner. Jakaya Whitfield is too strong. And another one of the in-form NRLW players scores for Australia. And they lead 8-0.
Sorry, Ben. We were talking about how Bo Vetti Welsh has moved into the 5'8" position to give room for Tegan Berry to fill in to be the fullback. And we're worried about a passing game. I wasn't worried because look at this, how she finds Jakaya Whitfield on the edge. Now, you'd think Jakaya had nowhere to go, but this strength and power that she has, a little stutter step, and just goes right over the top of the defence. Great try, Jakaya Whitfield. She's really burst onto the scene this year.
And she's been tough to handle at NRLW level. And for Norris there, the one-on-one tackle, she's been playing in the Darwin competition, actually regarded by the NT News as the best player in that competition, Latonya Norris, but it's a big step up from that to taking on an NRLW player like Jakaya Whitfield in that one-on-one situation. And now Rachel Pearson. Well, this is extremely difficult. She's basically trying to kick this into the wind. It's about a 35-kilometre breeze straight into her face.
Yeah, she's certainly going to have to put some oomph into this one. That's a technical kicking term, Ben. Putting oomph into it.
Yeah, well, she's going to need a few barrels of that. This is Pearson, and it's going to fall short. Gee whiz, she struck it decently, and if not for the wind, it would have been straight over. And here's that try. So Vetti Welsh getting the try assist.
Yeah, she's hard to stop, Jakaya Whitfield. She's so powerful, and those stutter steps just get the defence off balance, and she can charge over the top of them.
Most tackle busts in the NRLW this season with 76, and the most run meters in one game. She grabbed that record, 280 she ran. She's already leading the way for Australia 15 minutes into this one. The benefit for PNG, though, is it's only 8-0. As they kick us back off, and Pearson popping it up to Janelle Williams.
Up now! Hold! Go one.
Okay, they put in a good set of defence here, PNG.
Well, they've done just that. Emma Manselman, when she scoots out from dummy half, very hard to stop, but she's wrapped up nicely there.
Don't forget, straight after this one, it is the men's edition of the PM's 13 Clash. Straight off the back of this one. Australia and PNG as Ralstrand Smith bursts through, playing in that second row position, spins away from a couple, and then finds Coolwell, and Keisha Lee Coolwell, can she reach out and get there? Not quite. Great defence from PNG. Whitfield. And Vetti Welsh on to Berry, pops it up, and there is a massive gap for Kennedy Charrington, but she's stopped again. Desperate defence. Manselman. Oh, there's a penalty. Oh, Ziggy. He's played a bit of party pooper for the home fans. He blows the penalty, and Australia are going to get another set here after the drinks break. Now, it is around 30 degrees here in Port Moresby, so there'll be drinks breaks midway through each half. I tell you what, Tasha, Kennedy Charrington, she's not getting much change out of this PNG defence.
Well, she's topped the tackle count for the Australian team. She's given 12 hard tackles, but, geez, I think she's copped more in return.
This will give Australia a bit of time to work out what they're going to do here in this set, but also PNG to get some breath back for some defence. But here are the tries so far in this game. Cassie Tohu with the opening try a couple of minutes in, just showing her speed down that right flank, Tasha. And then on the other side, it was Jakaya Whitfield who was just able to power away over the line after that stutter step.
And this great break by Tiana Ralph-Strand-Smith puts the Australian team into good position. And Coolwell fighting there. She nearly goes over. Great defensive scramble for the Papua New Guinean team.
And do not forget, as I mentioned, straight after this, it is the men's PN13 clash. Plenty of NRL experience in the men's PNG side, but also the Aussies. It's a star-studded side, likes of Cherry Evans, Hines, also Cameron Murray. So that will be live from 3:30, straight off the back of this one. And you look at the PNG side, they got the likes of Trey Stewart from the Dragons, Robert Derby from the Cowboys, also Kyle Labert from Townsville. So there's some quality players in this side with either NRL or Queensland Cup experience. Some PNG Hunters players littered through the side. So here come Australia. Kennedy Cherrington just caught short of the line. Quincy Dodd out there in 19. She spins it the way of Vetti Welsh. And now Pio. So the bench has been unleashed on this game by Brad Donald as Dodd's pass just goes a little bit behind Morrissey. Jasmine Morrissey playing the ball there. Pio and Todd Hunter, who played a handful of games for the Eels at the back end of this year's NRLW season. Dodd, Vetti Welsh. Well, the pass has bounced to Whitfield. Can she do it again here, Jakaya? She's fending away from 2 and 3. A little bit of a hair pull, it seemed, in there as well. But they've done the job. Dodd goes out of dummy half, tries to dribble it in, and great hands from Jess Reeves. I think we've seen that in the NRLW. She took a similar kind of short-range catch. Great hands from Reeves, and PNG withstand that Australian set.
Well, PNG are back on the attack, and Jess Reeves, great hands for a prop to pick that ball up nice and clean and get her team back on the attack.
So LaTonya Norris, as I mentioned, from Darwin Brothers, Ben Jeffries saying during the week that she was really unlucky to miss out on the squad for the World Cup last year. Oh, well, she put a kick on it there, S.A. Banu. Was it knocked on by Australia? Unfortunately, there's no challenges available, but if there was, maybe PNG could potentially get the ball back, because it looked as though Banu had kicked it beforehand and then Australia knocked it on.
Yeah, ref's called it's gone, hit the ground first, which it did.
Well, I don't know. I thought she got a kick on it. It was close.
She got a kick on it. I'm just not sure if it was before it hit the deck.
Yeah, we'll go with it. As Cherrington, this is Ruben onto Tohu Hiku, so both teammates at the Parramatta Eels. As expected, Australia with a lot of territory in this game, 80% so far being played in this PNG half. Banu making the tackle on Williams, Vetti Welsh, and here's Abby Church. Good hands onto Morrissey. Jasmine Morrissey wrapped up by Coroy and also Norris. Church's pass just a little bit high for Pio, who found one of her former teammates in Cherrington. Dodd sending it left. Vetti Welsh, space of plenty. Morrissey is stopped, is she? Brilliant defence from PNG. Final play for Australia. And Dodd rushed up, and great defence again from PNG. And that time it was Kurawa who dives on the ball, and PNG have done it again.
Outstanding defence. I thought the Australian team were over for all money. And in this heat, defending so much, being starved a bit of the territory, doing all the work in defence, PNG, I think Ben Jeffries can be very happy with their efforts.
Yep, final 14 minutes here of the first half. You think if they can get down the other end, they've got the advantage of the wind behind them. So I'd really love to use that as they get towards the end of this set. Get themselves out of some trouble. They find themselves in, they kick on the third here. Well, there you go. And here's an option The ball trickling towards the sideline. It was a good chase as Tegan Berry was happy to just watch it trickle over.
Well, they're trying everything, Ben. They're pulling everything out of the hat. From the short goal line dropout to kicking so early, kicking on the third year. Nearly pays off.
Well, you can see, I should have said Abby Church it was, just shepherding that one over the sideline.
Well, Abby Church has moved from the centres to the fullback this season and played an outstanding role there, the fullback.
One of the most consistent players for Parramatta as she was playing it there to Todd Hunter, just handing it on to Cherrington. Tanika Todd Hunter, she actually impressed with the First Nations side at the National Championship, and that's how she earned that contract with the Eels. As Cherrington, Tohu Hiku trying to get on the outside, too quick for Gwassaman, and Cassie Tohu Hiku has grabbed a double here in Port Moresby, and Australia lead 12-0.
Well, Cassie Tohiku bags herself a double with just over 12 minutes remaining in this first half. And again, you've got to put it down to having the ball in both hands. A little bit of gap opens up, but it's the afterburners that Cassie Tohiku, it's that acceleration that allows her to run around the defence of the Papua New Guinea team and go over for her second try today. Let's see it here. Both hands, looks like she's going to pass, opens up a bit, and she's got the pace to finish it off from there.
Yeah, well, she only scored her first NRLW try this season, Cassie Tohiku. Doesn't score a whole lot of tries, but she has done beautifully today. Has got a double in this first half.
And she's done it all herself. You can see she's got a winger outside there. Notice that the gap opened up. Accelerates through that line. Now Australia in the lead, 12 points to zip, with the kick to come, and it's not Rachel Pearson.
Yeah, Ruben Cherrington standing over this.
Oh.
And I tell you what, she wasn't far off. The way the wind blew it back, she's got a smile on her face as well. She hasn't taken a kick in the NRLW. She almost nailed that. It is a kicker's nightmare today with this wind blowing across at about 35, 40 kilometres an hour. And Australia, Tasha, have looked more dangerous further out from the line. It's almost as if they're too close to the line sometimes. And that space just allows them the room in between the lines, which Tohu Hiku has been able to exploit twice.
I'll tell you what, Ben, I wouldn't mind watching Ruben Cherrington have a few more cracks at that kicking game. It was impressive.
And you can see the ball getting blown off the tee.
Well, that's what Ruben Cherrington almost predicted that. Like she's got a degree in meteorology or something. Rang the bureau. But the way she curved it back around was so close, so good.
So back underway here. And it's Williams again with the carry off the kickoff. Can they just get their hands on the ball here? That's some great defence. It was Gloria Carper again in there to make the tackle. Cherrington, Vetty Welsh, and then on to Pio. She is the offload queen, and she does it again. Morrissey's pass put down by Whitfield. So here's an opportunity. And Whitfield's off for the prize, but certainly a knock on there. So here we go. A set start just short of halfway for PNG. And the wind is proving difficult for passing and catching here today.
Great opportunity for the PNG team, who have been starved for territory. 80% the way of the Australian team. And here's their opportunity.
We can hear the home fans. They are getting excited. And this opportunity for PNG to take it up over the halfway line. You can hear the chant going around the Santos National Football Stadium, and Australia responding with some strong defence. Janelle Williams involved there with Dodd and also Pio. Now Banu. She's driven back.
We're up now. Here we are, girls.
Australia haven't done too much defending, so they're extremely fresh. And it's showing in this defence.
Hold you, girls. Go for it.
Here's the kick from Ravu, just in behind, and you can see the wind has just taken that ball dead. The surface is quite bouncy, but the wind is just wreaking havoc.
Number 20 was offside. 20 was offside. Wait, Chiquia's in front.
Abby Church keen to get this set started.
Release now!
No doubt Rachel Pearson's taken note of the strength of that wind, and we'll see a different style of kicking from her in the second half.
And here's a break from Whitfield. She's already got one. She is too quick for the PNG defence, and she's got a double as well in this first half and makes it 16-0. You cannot give her that kind of space or she will punish you.
Absolutely right. Jakaya Whitfield, so powerful, so strong, isolates the one defender there and thinks, I can run through you, puts her head down and does just that. She bags herself a double. So that's Cassie Tohu with 2 and Jakaya Whitfield on the other side of the field, the left-hand side, also bags herself a double. See, lining up for the kick. It looks to be like it might be Ruben getting a second crack. Here's that try again. Ball in both hands. Always puts the opposition in two minds. Is she going to pass? Could she kick? But no, she's going to bust right through and go under the post. Great speed, great strength. A much easier kick here for the conversion.
Yeah, Ruben Charrington will be a lot more excited about this kick at goal, but
she better not make a liar out of me and mess this one.
Well, there's still a very strong breeze coming right across here. And she's nailed it. So first successful conversion for Australia today. And it's 18-0 to the Aussie PM's 13 side. Jakaya Whitfield and Cassie Tohu with a double each in this first half.
Straight under the post, making that kick easier for Charrington to convert. Ruben Charrington, of course, the younger sister of vice captain out there in the lock position, Kennedy Charrington. The Charrington family will be very, very happy with that one.
So just over 6 minutes to go in this first half.
Jakaya Whitfield, 6 runs for 131 run metres already, Ben.
Well, she's trying to track down that 280 she grabbed in the NRLW. It was an awkward kick off Ralph Smith, bringing it back. And you can see it is those two try scorers, Whitfield and Tohu, leading the way, as you'd probably expect. Both of them making breaks leading to those tries, as Todd Hunter just short of the 20. So just looking at score lines between these two sides in recent years. We mentioned last year's match, the Aussies won 64-6. PNG hosted in, well, little knock on there from Charrington. Well, here's an opportunity for PNG. They've never been kept scoreless in this match. 2017 and 2018, both in Port Moresby. They went down 42-4 and 40-4 in those clashes. So can they get themselves over the line here?
Heads in.
5 minutes before half-time. It'd be a great confidence booster if Papua New Guinea could go over.
Well, Ravu Almost able to slice through Australia. Guasaman.
Move!
Linda Guasaman knows her way to the try line. Bouncing away from a couple. Just 5 metres short here, PNG. And going out of dummy half and going perilously close there is Carpo.
Play the ball.
Carper at dummy half. She looks to the short side. She goes herself. Is she held up? She thinks she scored. Gloria Carper has knocked it on over the line.
20 metre.
So it's a 20-metre restart. And Australia gets 7 tackles. Heartbreaking.
It is. Well, she thought she got it down. The crowd thought she got it down, but the most important bloke is the bloke with the whistle, and he says no.
And you can hear the whistle. The hooter is gone for half-time. Now, maybe they've included the time for the drinks break as well in that, but both sides are heading to the sheds, and it is Australia who lead 18-0, a try each for Tohu Hiku and also Whitfield. We'll take a break, and the halftime show is next.
This is Finals Footy.
I'm invincible.
Get on board as the Waz take on the mighty Broncos. The NRL Preliminary Final, Broncos Warriors.
13 clash.
Pet parents.
Pearson. Whitfield.
Interesting to see switching ends. A few of the kicks, of course, went dead or over the touch line for the Papua New Guinean team with that strong wind behind them. Interesting to see what's going to happen when that turns around.
Yes, well, that is what Australia are going to have at their back in this second half. So you just wonder how Rachel Pearson is going to use that to her advantage. She's been doing most of the kicking for Australia in this match so far. Tanika Todd-Hunter and Quincy Dodd have done a little bit from close range, but it's been Pearson who's doing a lot of that long-range kicking. So how that plays out in the second half goes a long way to whether Australia can increase this advantage. And the two try scorers, Tasha, they have dominated the way when it comes to run meters. Whitfield, she's just a meter eater, isn't she? 131 so far in that first half. Tohu Hiku with 91, and then come the forwards.
Yep, absolutely, and both of them bagging a double from a fair distance, adding to those run meters for them. And that player we just saw there, Tegan Berry, hasn't she got some pace? Thinking a couple of kicks from Rachel Pearson, deep downfield, assisted by the wind. And Berry chasing it.
So here we go, back underway in the second half, and PNG very nearly had the ball right from the kickoff. Pearson is able to grab it for Australia, and Talisha Harden just short of the halfway line.
Middle 9-9.
Well, they've tried the short kick a couple of times now and only just come short of regaining it. Not afraid to try.
There's Quincy Dodd. Sending it on the outside, some driving defence there from Norris, who does look a little worse for wear after that. Tegan Berry scheming for a little opening.
Last tackle.
Here's the final play now for Australia. First set of the second half. Pearson with the kick high and well taken by Malamark. Couple of involvements in the first half. The winger who came in for Molawai, who was ruled out of this match.
Alicia, release.
The Australians haven't had to do a lot in defence. I think they've still got very fresh legs.
Guasamon with that previous carry, and now S.A. Banu. Couple of plays left in this set for PNG. Ravu firing the pass on, and now here's Reeves. One of their best in the first half, Jess Reeves. Close to leading their run meters. Behind the fullback, Corroy with a dummy. Here's some space on the outside for Shelley Long. And now on to Norris. She has Waller on the inside. Norris taking them on herself. And the Australia covering defence was superb from Todd Hunter, denying PNG their opening try this afternoon.
Well, what about some exciting footy we just saw then? Fake to kick, and it was a good fake, and pass it out through the hands, and Papua New Guinea made a great deal of ground. Here we see it again in the replay.
An intelligent play from Corroy, who found a Cowboys teammate in Shelley Long, and then Latonya Norris. Well, she thought she was going to threaten to open the scoring. Didn't quite get over the line. Manselman goes at a dummy half. Emma Manselman looking for one of those trademark runs out of dummy half, but PNG awake to the danger. Pearson with a juggle. And Pearson trying to wriggle free of the tackle, but Allen there to make it. Manselman again, on to Harden. Those two, of course, with the Cowboys in the NRLW. Final play, Pearson and Church. Quick hands on to Kim Hunt. And Kim Hunt wrapped up on the last. So both sides keen to use the footy on the final play. Go through the hands.
Yeah, a solid set by the Australian team. Surprising they didn't go to the kick, but they still handed over deep into territory at the 10-metre line.
Well, can PNG find something? Here's Frida Waller after that near miss a moment ago. Well, can they grab a try in this second half?
They're certainly not afraid to try, are they? The short kicks, the fake to kick, not kick on the last.
Here's the co-captain, Guasamon. Her husband, Brandon Nima, plays for the PNG Hunters in the Queensland Cup. They became the first husband and wife to play across the Premier Queensland competitions this season when she played for the North Devils. Larky playing it. Corroy again using her hands, and that sleight of hand just causing some problems for Australia at the moment, as Ravu is now kicking on the last, and it just hangs up in the breeze for Vetti Welsh, who looks to have dropped back to fullback.
Yeah, the hands of Bo Vetti Welsh, of course, captain and fullback for the West Tigers' new franchise in the NRLW this season.
Abby Church crunched in the tackle by 3. Ravu in there with Allen. Manselman. And now P.O. getting the offload. Todd Hunter and Dodd. Ralph Smith on the outside is Keisha Lee Coolwell. How about the footwork? And Keisha Lee Coolwell, the Brisbane Broncos development player, goes over for Australia. What a special moment that is for the 23-year-old.
Well, Keisha Lee Coolwell, she nearly scored in the first half, was just held up short, but this time shows some lovely bit of footwork. But it was great hands from the Australian team. Very tidy, all the way out to the left. So they find Keisha Lee Coolwell. If we can just see on the replay.
We might have to wait. There's Tanika Todd Hunter, but Keisha Lee Coolwell with the try. And 22-0 the score for Australia. She played in the centres for the First Nations Gems in May and found the try line with great regularity in the Queensland Cup competition with the Brisbane Tigers. And Pearson with her first successful conversion today. And Australia lead 24-0.
Here's the lead up to that try. An offload. Dodd scoops it on. Tiana Roughstrand-Smith finds Coolwell. Lovely little stutter step. She runs it around to improve the positioning for her kicker. Here's the offload. Scoops on. Dodd. Roughstrand-Smith. And then the pace, the stutter step. And Coolwell goes over. And Rachel Pearson has returned to kicking duties and manages to convert that one successfully.
So Quincy Dodd scoops it off the floor and finds Pio. Don't forget, tomorrow it's the NRLW semi-finals. Who makes it to the grand final next Sunday? First up, 1:30. Our coverage begins here on Fox League, as there's a mistake here from Australia. So 1:30 tomorrow, coverage begins with Lara Pitt and the team. Big pre-game show before the Knights, the minor premiers, take on the Broncos in Newcastle. Then straight off the back of that, it is the Sydney Roosters taking on the Gold Coast Titans. Remember, Brisbane looking to get back in the grand final for the first time since 2020. They've missed the last two. The Knights, well, they are the defending premiers. And then in the second match, the Roosters, well, they want to get over that heartbreak of missing out on the grand final last year after coming home with the minor premiership, and the Titans chasing a spot in their first grand final.
And here comes Papua New Guinea on their first tackle, well inside the 30.
Kerrowood taken there on the first. Ravu handing it on now to Awoy. Sheba Awoy. Played for the North Devils as well in the EMT competition. Ravu. Terrific run from Karpa. She thought she scored in the first half out of dummy half. Ravu sends it right. Koroy. Dummies to a couple. Finds Awoy. Waller. Australia's defence up to the task so far. Koroy deputising at dummy half because Ravu was there at first receiver, and she takes the tackle. Final play here for the home team. Back it comes to Larkey. Stabs his kick in behind. Hunt has to collect it. Oh, Gwasserman was flying in there. And the tackle was affected, and it's going to be a goal line dropout here. PNG are going to get another set to attack the Australian goal line.
Yeah, as you can see, the kick here, it's against the wind, so it sits up nicely, but a lot of work to do to get it back in play, but not with the Papua New Guinea defence like that, no chance.
And Pearson drills it. Now that goes backwards. Scooped up by Kerrowa, and Kerrowa charges it back. Another one of those players who didn't play at the World Cup last year, but Ben Jeffrey's hugely impressed by her work at the National Championships with the Southern Confederate.
And rather than scooting out from dummy half, looked like she was starved from options. Look at this.
Karpa was coming back against the grain. Ravu. Koroy. Here's Reeves. Jess Reeves. Oh, she could almost reach out and touch the line. Ravu there at dummy half. She's gone herself. And Ravu, the Canberra Raider. She goes over. Even Ziggy loved that. And PNG, they score in this second half.
Ravu, the cheeky number 9 for the Papua New Guinea Prime Minister's 13 team. She had a great little option scooting out from dummy half about 2 plays earlier. But this time stood up with the ball, had a fair bit of time, dummied, waited with the ball. Somehow the Australian team fell for it, and she got nice and low and over for that try. And you said it earlier, Ben, never have the Papua New Guinean team been kept to 0, and that's not going to happen again here as they score their first 4 points for the afternoon with a kick to come. Here we see that replay, that great run by Reeves, just short.
And look at this, Ravu just... Talisha Harden wasn't back to her feet. Ravu was just waiting for one of the defenders to make a move. Harden did, and she dives over and scores, and the Raiders fans punching the air. We know it's been a tough week for you because NRLW side in the first season, so close to making the finals, missing out in the final round. Ravu there, getting over. And Guasaman just goes under the crossbar with the attempt to convert the try. So 24-4, it remains here. Australia leading PNG.
It's just here. It's Harden. Bites at that one. Leans a little to the right. That Ravu goes, that's enough for me to get through.
Actually went past one of her teammates or involved in the wider squad in Canberra, Kayla Fleming, who's out there for Australia in 16. She's part of the Raiders Tarsha Gale Cup side, and Darren Borthwick said that certainly one that is on the radar for Canberra moving forward to play NRLW. There is a deep kickoff. Well, that is perfection from Pearson. She just launches it deep, and they're going to get a set here attacking the PNG line.
Yeah, great kick by Pearson. We did say make a big difference having the wind at her back, and she's used that perfectly.
So no sooner have they scored points, and now they're defending once again. And you can see the wind has blown this ball around, so it was very difficult to pick up for Manselman. And now Harden. Harden, part of the Gillaroos World Cup squad last year. And Manselman finding Dodd. Here is Coolwell. Can she grab a double? We've got a couple of doubles already for Australia with Whitfield and Tohu Hiku. Manselman and Pio. And she's lost it. Christian Pio puts it down. And PNG again on their own goal line, able to hold Australia at bay in this second half.
Yeah, they'll have this centrefield scrum on the 10-metre mark. A fair bit of work to do. But you were mentioning Carla Fleming. A shout out to her mum, Nicole Pollard Fleming, who of course was a Gillaroo back in 2001.
Just after you'd retired, Tarsha, so you didn't get to meet Nicole in that Gillaroo system. But certainly with some great pedigree. Kayla Fleming, who played at the national championships and earned her spot in this side today, as Waller gets picked up and driven by Todd Hunter, another player who was so impressive for the First Nations Gems at the national championship. That's how she earned her spot with the Eels in the NRLW. It's a great competition. PNG's side also selected by their national championships with the Southern, Northern, Highlands, and also the Islands Confederates coming together. This is a great run from Carper. She's from the Highlands Confederate region of PNG. Ravu and Koroy. It's a bit of a wobbler, and it was a tough one taken by Tegan Berry, who it seems is now playing on that left wing. No doubt Brad Donald would love to see how she goes back on the wing, because you sense that that number one jumper is probably going to go the way of someone like Tamika Upton, as Church pokes the nose through the line.
Well, they've got three quality fullbacks out there in Tegan Berry, Bo Vetti Welsh and Abby Church.
Pearson goes to the line. There's the gap. It opens up for Kayla Fleming, the daughter of a Gillaroo, scores in her first match for Australia.
And Kayla Fleming, we've just been talking about her. She goes over for her first try. She shouts out to Mum, Nicole, former Gillaroo, as he said. She said, Mum, this one's for you. I'm sure she's had a lot to do. She actually managed to play alongside her mum in one of the tournaments.
Yeah, for the Jindabyne Bears, nice. And Tarsha, Jindabyne's Oval is one of the most picturesque in the country, looking over the lake there, Lake Jindabyne. And she got to play with her mum for the Jindabyne side. She's from Cooma, and she's part of the Raiders Tarsha Gale Cup side. As I mentioned before, Darren Borthwick, their coach, is saying that She won the best and fairest for that Tarsha Gale Cup side, and someone that is earmarked as a player who could be part of the Raiders NRLW roster in the future. They've got some talent down there in Canberra.
They certainly do. They just narrowly missed out on the finals, but performed very well. It's always tough for the new franchises. That was a beautiful ball. Try assist there by Rachel Pearson. But Kayla had to be running the line perfectly.
And have a look at that from Pearson. That's a stark difference to the goal kicking in the first half, where kicking into the teeth of the breeze was so difficult to do. That was like it was shot out of a cannon, straight over the black dot. 30-4, Australia lead this clash. So scoreline getting similar to what we've seen in the two previous meetings of these sides in Port Moresby. 40-4, the most recent in 2018. 42-4 in 2017. So PNG will be keen to grab themselves another try. They've never scored twice in this fixture. And you can see Ben Jeffries just having a chat to his side. Really wants them to produce something special in these next 13 minutes, because this is basically his Orchid side. He was saying this is basically the PNG national side without Elsie Albert, unfortunately, because she's injured. So she won't play in the Pacific Championships. And they've got those matches coming up in a couple of weeks' time. So really looking forward to seeing how they go in the Pacific Championships.
And as we take a look at the nice set of hands all the way out, finds Shelley Long. Shelley Long's got a nice little step on her. Australian team chase her down. Nice little break there.
I can tell you, Tarsha, the PNG Orchids, they're taking on the Cook Islands side 22nd of October, so almost a month today. So that's what Ben Jeffries will be preparing his side for.
Just in case people have just tuned in, here at Port Moresby, very hot, 30 or just above 30 degrees, and so we've stopped for drinks and we'll get play back underway.
PNG have really threatened Australia when they've got down the attacking end. So can they grab themselves another 4-pointer? 15 minutes remaining.
Yeah, they've got to break that voodoo 4 points. Get 2 tries. Not yet been able to do that in this fixture.
And we've got the old-fashioned holding the ball here due to the wind. And, oh, PNG should get this and do. It perfectly broke the plane and came back for Gwasserman. Well, that's brilliant work.
I've seen everything now. That was brilliant work. Broke the plane of the 10-metre mark, came back into the hands of the PNG team, and they're on the attack.
Well, this would be a special moment for PNG if they could get a second try here against this Australian side. And through the hands, there's the space, Awoy. Inside the 10 now, PNG. Just pull back, Bertsheba Awoy. Ravu, the try scorer, goes across the ground. Frida Waller couldn't run over the top of Abby Church there. Final play for PNG. Ravu's kick, it's stabbed over the top, and it's taken well. Well, it was a great take in the end from China Palata, because Vivas was flying through looking to get on the end of it, and she probably would have if the wind didn't blow it sideways.
Had it not been for that wind, Papua New Guinea could have cracked the voodoo and actually got their second try, but it was well cleaned up by Palata. The ball seemed to bend back towards her through the strength of the wind, and now the Papua New Guinea team still showing great defence.
Pio pops the offload up. Quincy Dodd, space here again. Rafstrand Smith onto Abby Church. Abby Church finds Whitfield. Can she grab a hat-trick? Jakaya Whitfield, no doubt about it. She's got 3 in Port Moresby, and Australia, they're out by 30.
Well, a hat-trick of tries for Jakaya Whitfield. We mentioned she burst onto the scene this year in the NRLW. She has topped the entire competition for tackle bus. 4 line breaks, 150 run metres, and a hat-trick of tries.
And I can tell you, West Tigers better lock her down, because the NRLW contracts for this season, some clubs went with multi-year deals for players, but Whitfield, by my understanding, is only signed for the season just gone. So I'm sure Brett Kamali will want to get her signed up and ready for next season for the West Tigers, because she was one of their best this season, if not their best player.
Absolutely outstanding. And I tell you what, with every try, she's thinking about adding an extra couple of dollars to that contract, Brett Morley, so you better hurry.
Rachel Pearson converts, 36-4. Well, she's got no issues in terms of contract. She's locked down at the Eels for the next couple of seasons. And this is where the Gillaroos have done, I should say Australia, the PM's 13 side. This is not the Gillaroos. Obviously, Brad Donald is going to name that very, very soon. But they've done a lot of their great work from well outside the PNG 20.
Well, it's the goal line defence close to the line that is so solid from the PNG team. It's forcing the Australian PM team to go out wide.
Her handling is just so impressive, isn't it? Not ball handling, but handling of her feet, just ability. You can see there on the replay. Just able to turn so quickly, and PNG couldn't do anything about it. So the 7th try for Australia, 36-4, Cherrington out of dummy half. Oh, almost dumped on her head. Australia get a penalty. A tackle from Carpo goes on report. As I mentioned in the first half, one of the players who came over to Australia, played for Wentworthville in the New South Wales Women's Open competition, staying with Elsie Albert and Gloria Carper this year in Sydney. As Dodd, Berry, good juggle onto Abby Church. Well, could Whitfield grab 4? She's certainly getting herself about. Tegan Berry knows how to score 4 tries. She did that this season in the NRLW. Quincy Dodd now to Cherrington. She got picked up, but got the offload to Pio. This is Ruben Cherrington, looking to keep it alive. Oh, well, Cherrington wasn't her best play of the ball. Play on is the call. Pearson, Berry, cut out pass, flings it out wide. Space here, well, was it put down? Jasmine Morrissey, she goes over for Australia. Another one of these players who hasn't played NRLW, but she got her spot in this side by performances for the First Nations Gems, and the proud Bundjalung woman plunges over, and Australia out by 40-4.
Yeah, nice try to Jasmine Morrissey. As you said, yet to be picked up, but I'm sure all of the 10 coaches are watching every player. She's got a touch football background, and she's actually represented Queensland in the under-18 hockey, so quite the athlete.
Yeah, and I can tell you, Brad Donald was saying that she's only started playing rugby league this year, and that was at his insistence, or the Australian Rugby League's insistence, because she was so talented playing touch footy. They said, come over and play rugby league. So this is her first year. She played at the National Championships, as I mentioned. She was actually the school captain at Tweed River High, where, as you mentioned, she was part of the Queensland under-18s hockey side who won the national title. Now Pearson, we saw in the first half, she almost converted, kicking into the teeth of the breeze. It just fell short. This time she's got the breeze behind her.
It's a tough kick. It's down and across that wind.
Pearson from the sideline, just brings it under the crossbar. She almost executed that to perfection.
I am seeing some amazing kicks out there today. The way the players are adjusting to the wind is extraordinary. But here, you see Morrissey going over for her try. She stutter-stepped backwards there, almost like the touch ball came back to her, like trying to avoid even being touched by the defence.
Currumbin Eagles Junior, Morrissey, having grown up in Tweed Heads. Let's be fair, Tweed Heads is in New South Wales, but a lot of people from Tweed Heads play their juniors in Queensland.
Yeah, but don't start me on that.
Let's not go to Origin,
No.
Tasha. It's been a tough year. As that looked like it was a high shot on Quincy Dodd.
And it looked like Shelley Long was very sorry.
So the fatigue just setting in here for PNG, and Whitfield is charging away to try and score a fourth try. Once again showing her pace, and Jakaya has 4 tries. I tell you what, she's not just knocking on Brad Donald's door for the Gillaroos, she is thumping on it and saying, pick me for that 2-test series against the Kiwi Ferns.
Well, what a lovely position Brad Donald is in to have such a plethora of choices to choose from for his Australian Gillaroo team. And Jakaya Whitfield, we mentioned Tegan Berry went over for 4 tries during this NRLW season, and Jakaya Whitfield is saying, well, I can do that too. And she certainly has done just that.
And she's still got time to score a 5th if she's good enough. Every time she gets the ball in her hands.
That was a great pass out to her, though. She was shown clean space there, and she's showing her speed and acceleration. That time, one of the rare times, she didn't need to bust through tackles, because we know she can do that. We've seen her do that on numerous occasions. But that time, sheer pace will get her there.
And remember, after Rachel Pearson converts, remember that after she took that break, she was going to try and play for the Australian 7 side at the Olympics, did her ACL, then she took a break, and she actually was a Gillaroo, an actual Gillaroo, Tasha, and maybe she will be an Australian Rugby League Gillaroo.
I'm getting what you're saying, Ben. You're meaning she was actually working as a Gillaroo on farms, properties, and now she knocking on the door to become a Australian women's representative as a Gillaroo.
It's going to come full circle. That's pretty special, isn't it? So 46-4, Australia lead. And a juggle from Williams, bounces off the first and the second. And gets a penalty here. So Australia basically having all the possession in the last period of the game. Now, the final 5 minutes here, Tasha, well, we think in the first half, the hooter went off about 4 minutes early, so we'll wait and see how it plays out. We're in the hands of the timekeeper here at the Santos National Football Stadium. Who knows what's going to happen?
Well, we'll play till he blows it, I guess.
We're going to be left in suspense. Don't forget the men's clash straight after this, Australia and PNG. And then it is the Broncos and Warriors, the second preliminary final to decide who plays the Panthers in the grand final next Sunday. Cherrington and Dodd. Church has Whitfield on the outside. Just takes the tackle to Abby Church, and Cherrington sends it right. Dodd and Pio. Final play now as Pio gets up. Pearson just tries to measure this kick in behind. It was well taken by Waller, but she's going to be driven back and taken in goal.
Nice little kick there by Rachel Pearson. Very well weighted, but a great chase from China Pilata and Rachel Pearson to force the goal line drop out for Papua New Guinea.
So can Australia crack 50 as they did last year in this clash as Pio Hit initially by Corroy. And the short side is the option, and Abby Church just hits the hole. She gets a reward for a superb season in the NRLW. She gets some reward here and brings up the half century for Australia.
Well, the Australian team have gone down the left-hand side again there. As we saw, the try before this was scored down that side. Abby Church playing on the left centre. Scores for Australia, but I'm just picturing, I think Jakaya Whitfield was there on the left and could have gone over for her fifth, was totally unmarked. But
you
Abby
wanted
Church
it, didn't you?
Abby Church just says, you've got 4. Give me 1.
Yeah, that's a great moment for Abby Church. She works as a paramedic in New South Wales. Actually made the move from the centres and the wing to the fullback role this season for the Eels. Back out in the centres for this clash, coming off the bench. She's had a successful season in the Harvey Norman Women's Premiership, made the grand final with the Bulldogs. Rachel Pearson looking to convert again. Those 3 misses, she hasn't missed by much. It's literally been just grazing the crossbar or the post. And she's nailed that, Rachel Pearson. No worries with the win there. 52-4, Australia lead. Getting up close to that scoreline last year of 64-6.
Well, we think there's just 3 minutes to go. As we see that last try, Abby Church had Jakaya Whitfield on her outside, but silly to force the pass when you can go over yourself. And as we mentioned, Jakaya Whitfield, she's got 4. She's got plenty for today.
And do not go anywhere here on Fox League. Straight after this, the men's PM13 clash. The likes of Daly Cherry-Evans, Nico Hines, the Fox, Josh Adokar in action as well. As we see a knock on here, Talisha Harden puts it down. And PNG are going to get a set here.
It's another cheeky little kickoff.
Well, she didn't drop it. That's what Talisha Harden was explaining, and there's no challenge. Yes, she definitely didn't drop it.
Great, she dives out and manages to prevent that from hitting the deck, scoops it up in her fingers, but the referee says, no, that's not the way I saw it.
That was a bit unfair, wasn't it, on a front rower?
Yeah.
Great hands from Talisha Harden.
It was, but...
Gives PNG a crack here.
Yeah, I'm happy about that.
Kerawa getting the offload back to Carpo. Final 2 minutes here in Port Moresby. PNG, they've never scored twice in this fixture. Can they make some history here? The most points they've ever got, 6, which was last year in Brisbane. Lucky goes to the line.
Crowder behind them.
Running out of tackles here. They've got a couple left up their sleeve here. Carpo, charge from Banu. SA just pulled down short and gets a penalty. So PNG are going to get to attack here right to the end. Can they get themselves a second try? It'd be an amazing moment to finish with here at the Santos National Football Stadium. Banu takes the tap and says, get out of my way. 3 defenders in there from Australia. Carpo and Larkey. The step comes from Allen. The final minute of this clash. Carpo, Corroy has been dangerous. Sarah Corroy, she deserves a try today. She's been one of their best. Out of dummy half goes Carpo. Just held up by Ralph Strand-Smith. Couple of tackles left. Corroy there at dummy half. Larkey dummies inside. Thinks about going outside. Now she flings it back to Allen. And Allen surging. Throws it over the top. Away. And now finally in the arms of Kerawa. Last play for PNG. Short side is the option. Corroy to the line. She dribbles it in behind. Tegan Berry takes no chances. And Australia defend their own goal line. And that probably will be the last act here in Port Moresby.
Well, the siren hasn't sounded, so perhaps they realise that they were 3 minutes short in the first half, and they're tacking it on to the end of this one.
We're getting extra minutes in the second half as this kick has been launched long. That was huge from Pearson. As Larky is going to play the ball 10 short of halfway.
Well, coaches are always telling their players, play to the whistle.
Well, who knows when this match is going to finish? We might just keep going on as Gwassaman.
I'm happy to keep playing until Papua New Guinea score again.
Last try wins. Well, here we go. We're into the final 10 seconds now. Flung out the back. The siren goes in the background. Larky puts it on the toe. Tohu gets pushed out of the way. And Berry picks it up, and Tegan Berry says, I might grab myself a try to finish off this match. And she shows her speed, Tegan Berry. And Australia will finish with a try here in Port Moresby. What an entertaining clash this has been.
Well, a fabulous effort by both teams. The Australian team, of course, got this one at the moment at 56-4. There is still the kick to come, but that last play, you saw Cassie Tohu being pushed from the ball. The little kick goes through here. Cassie thinks she's going to clean this up, pushed off the ball. It's a juggle fest. And then Tegan Berry says, well, look, there's still time left for me to score. The siren may have done, but the play's still live, and I'll show you my pace and go over on the right-hand side, take the Australian team up to 56 points to 4. And it looks like Talisha Harden will be doing the kicking duties for this last one, Ben.
Well, she's got to get the ball on the tee first here. And these kind of tees make it difficult because the ball sits so far off the ground. It's a narrow bit of plastic holding the ball up.
Well, she's going to need to get a teammate there to hold it for her.
It's like sitting on the end of a telegraph pole. It's so high up. And she's getting some assistance. So this doesn't get much more difficult. Windy conditions. It is a tough conversion attempt. Talisha Harden, can she nail it? Well, she struck it all right. Just goes wide, drops away to the right. Australia, though, they win this clash 56-4. Australia make it 4 from 4 in this clash between the Aussie and PNG